Hi everyone, thank you for tuning into the Regina Young Show. So I'm on here because I am only doing Delaware at the moment because Delaware is where I live at. So a lot of people are asking about child support questions, and I had a couple of incidents where I have questioned child support and family court as well. So this is frequent questions asked about child support, and as you can see, it says court down below. So child support is family based. And we're going to talk about the process, division of child support, the affidavit, which all that has to do with the court, how they come up with the calculations and what all. We're going to talk about some of it. So, a gentleman asked me this a couple of weeks ago. He said, "Hey, Regina, my daughter is 18 years old. Why am I still paying child support?" Well, it's right here for you. In Delaware, if the child is 18 and still in school, you must continue to pay child support until they turn 19 or they graduate, whichever one comes first. So say the birthday is in May and they turn 18, but they don't graduate until June. Well, legally you have to pay child support until June. And then at June, I always tell people, make sure you go in and let the court know that your child is graduating or has graduated. If they're in high school, usually they graduate in May and they walk and everything, but the last day of school is in June. Just check and get the schedule and take it into the court so they can take it off. Now, there are two ways to determine whether a child is allowed to be on child support. One, you do a DNA test. Most courts will order a DNA test, especially if you have a child's father, I'll say, because if you gave birth to her, they know who the mama is. That says, hey, that's not my baby. I'm not the baby daddy. Well, they'll make you do a DNA test. So as you can see, they talk about genetic testing right here, where you have to come in and you will have to do a little swabbing of the mouth. You know how they do. And that's going to determine if you are the baby daddy. And if you are, you're going to be required to pay child support. Right now in Delaware, they use what they call the Nelson formula. Well, MEL is Melson formula. And that's how they determine how much child support a person has to pay. I don't agree with this formula because if you have more than one child, we know that you cannot take care of a child off of chunk change. Like I hear some baby mamas saying they're only getting like, one lady says she gets like $35 a week and it be broken down like she'll get like 3 deposits in a week. What is that about? But that's something child support does. But she gets a total of $35 a week. You can't take care of no child off of $35 a week, especially if the child goes to daycare. Daycare is expensive, y'all. It's very, very expensive. This is the procedure. So you go in and you petition through family court or you go through child support. If you go through child support, you do not have to pay for the fees through the court. But if you go on your own, you will need to pay the fees. However, if you go to family court in Dover, you can ask for a waiver. The waiver means that you don't have to pay if it's granted. If we granted or denied. You will need your pay stubs and you will have to say why you want to waive the fees. But there are waivers. You can do waivers for child support, custody, divorce, everything. Anything at family court, they have a waiver for it. And they don't tell you about it, but they have it. Every once in a while, you might meet someone nice that tells you about it. But then the person has 20 days to respond. Whoever it is that you're taking to court has 20 days to respond. Then it's scheduled for mediation or a commissioner. Personally, I've been to both. Sometimes mediation can be good, and never really had a commissioner that's good. They all kind of told me, hey, you work, you make good money, you're able to take care of your kid. You really don't need your children's father's money. Yeah, and that's a true statement. That's what I was told. But then after that, if you don't or you're not able to solve anything through mediation, then it's scheduled with a commissioner or a judge. It's rare that you'll get a judge unless it's with custody. In Delaware, most of the time, if it's with custody, you could get a judge if you don't solve nothing. Sometimes they'll do custody, child support, all in one. keep from you coming back several times. Never happened for me. I always had to come back several times. What is the Delaware law regarding child support? So I already told you, according to Chapter 13 or Title 13, Chapter 5, it's till the child is out of school or 19. And this says it's the amount of child support. How's it calculated? Well, they use this crazy formula that I don't get and don't understand, and I think it's stupid. You know darn well nobody can't raise no child off of $35, but yet there are baby daddies or baby mamas that are only paying $35. Some are paying less than that. I mean, one week I had got like $8 and some change for 3 kids. I'm like, what in the world is this? But that's what they gave me. Don't worry, y'all. I used that $8 and some change. I bought a loaf of bread, some peanut butter, some jelly, a cheap pack of cheese, and some bologna. Okay? Now, they take a lot of things in considerations. Earnings from both parents. However, what family court in Dover does do sometimes, I'm not going to say all the time because every commissioner and every judge is different, but I have seen cases where the mother is unable to work 40 hours or does not work 40 hours. Sometimes they don't work 40 hours due to medical reasons, where they're only allowed to work so many hours or whatever. So they don't always work the full 40 hours or whatever. They will put 40 hours on there. They'll add income that the mother or father does not make. And I'm like, wait a minute. If they are not able to work 40 hours due to medical reasons, or there is a reason that they can't work the 40 hours, you should not be counting it. However, if it's a parent that is able to work 40 hours, but is just plain out lazy and don't want to work 40 hours, then they should count it. So there are some pros and cons when it comes to them counting 40 hours. But sometimes it just depends on the commissioner. Sometimes you have good commissioners and sometimes you have some that suck, like I do. It all depends. Cost of health insurance. That's the big one. I'm going to tell you now, it's very, very rare that any parent wants to say, hey, yeah, I'll put my child on my medical insurance. A lot of them do not. I am telling you, my kids, I have 3, and the only time they were put on medical insurance is when the job automatically put them on because it was court order. Some jobs won't. They just won't. They take in consideration the amount of days. I have seen this, like, parents talk about, oh, we're doing 50-50, but the child's with the mom 5 days a week and with you 2 days a week. Let me tell you something. If I drop my kid off to you usually it's on Friday, at 6 p.m., and you drop the kid back off to me on Sunday at 6 p.m., that's not 50-50. Okay? Just to let you know. It's not 50-50. So ladies, gentlemen, whoever, make sure you know that. Here it says that it count daycare expenses, private school expenses under certain situations. My kids go to uniform school. So therefore, you're required to buy uniform clothes and shoes or whatever else. They're supposed to count this. However, when I was in Dover, Delaware, at 400 Court Street in Dover, Delaware, I had a commissioner that did not count any of this. She didn't count medical expenses or daycare on my case. So therefore, the father's child support order was low. They do wage attaches. However, if you have a parent that constantly switches jobs, I see this all the time. He or she'll get a job, and then as soon as they start garnishing the wages, they will literally quit working. Just stop working and switch to another job. In Delaware, it can take up to 8 weeks before they even start taking money. So if they change jobs, it can take up to 8 weeks before you start getting payment. However, after 60 days or 90 days, you can go back to court. If they pay partial, it's 90 days. If they don't pay nothing, in 60 days, you can go back and ask for a contempt or order because they're not paying. So this is a big thing. Well, I hear men say this all the time. Actually, I heard this on Facebook. They say, yo, Regina, why should I pay child support if I don't see my kid? Well, because legally, you have to go back to court to see your kid. And then the mother has to say why. You need to get a petition to ask for visitation rights. And you could do that at family court. But you must still pay your child support. you cannot stop paying it because you can't see the child. I think it's wrong. I think you should only stop the parent for seeing the child if the parent is abusive or they're not doing something right that's causing stress or something on a child. How can I pay my child support? Check, money order, when they garnish your wages. They have online. They have, if you go to Motivate, they have that touch screen kiosk. There's ways. I hear people say, oh, I don't know where I can go pay it, or I can't do this, I can't do that. Well, sweetie, here's 4 ways that you can pay it. There's no reason for you not to take care of your responsibility and, take care of your child. You made a child, you take care of the child. It's just that simple. Come on now. There's all kind of forms that they have. Now, to receive child support, you have to do direct deposit or you have to use this card. Now, in Delaware, it's called a First State Family Card. I don't have one, so I couldn't tell you what it looks like, but that's what it's called in Delaware. Division of Child Support Information. So, here are the phone numbers to child support. Now, there's an office in Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex County. Here are the phone numbers. Usually they ask you a couple of questions before they transfer you, so you got to listen carefully. If you want to speak to a supervisor, stay on the line. Here's the addresses down here. Here's the mailing address down at the bottom. You want to mail anything, send anything off, this is where you do it. They also have a number to help you get counseling for anger management, parenting classes. Parenting classes are not free. I'm going to tell y'all that now. They are not free. You have to pay for them. And there's only certain places that you can go and do the parenting classes at. But they're not free. But if you go to like Del Tech, they have a plan, and another building does. I don't know it off the top of my head, where they give you a discount if you bring in your pay stubs for the parenting classes, so you're not paying full price. So there are places where it gives you can get a discount. I don't know about free, but I do know about discounts. Like I said, if child support files your case through family court, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to pay nothing. But if you file, you have to file that waiver to ask if they can waive the fee. Can I seek child support without DCSS? Yes, you can. I'm going to be honest with you. I have used DCSS, and to be honest with you, in my personal opinion, the Dover one that I've used, I don't see where they really have helped me do anything because I'm not getting anything with them. Like, it's just crazy. I don't see where they really are benefiting me. Half the time, they don't even do their job, to be for real. So, after a petition is filed, what happens? You got to wait the 20 days. We talked about that already. You don't get to pick how much child support you want. If you have a judge, sometimes they do ask you, but you do not get to pick, honey. Because if that was the case, I will be asking for $1,000 because I have child expenses where I had to pay for gas, incontinence supplies, medical equipment. I'll be asking for a whole lot of money. Even though I'm supposed to get some of it back, 50%, I do not. They took away, it used to be the mother or whoever had custody of the child had to pay the first $350. Now that's being taken off on the slips. I know in 2018, I did see it coming off. This is what the form looks like, and this is how you will fill it out. For those that don't know, this is how you fill it out. You got to fill out your information, and then whoever it is, the child's information. Or this is what a petition looks like, I should say. This is what they give you afterwards. I'm sorry, I was incorrect. Tells you how much they pay a week or whatever, even a spouse support. But this is not how Delaware's look, per se. I will say that. I have a copy of a Delaware one. They tell you about the formula they use. It depends on your child. Some places require you to bring your child. These are the things that you need to bring when you come for child support. Now, I know what you're saying, Regina. I've been in child support, and my kid's father never brings this stuff. Well, this is the stuff. So this is part 3 of the child support. I'm going to do one more video, which is part 4, and we'll finish up the rest of this, okay? And then you'll see what else is on here.